What is up, One Pride? Rachel Marie Sports here for the Woodward Sports Network, and I'm so excited to get to talk to you today because we actually got to watch some Detroit Lions football last night. Unfortunately, the final score did end up 16-15, the Buffalo Bills topping us by 1 point. However, it's preseason, so nothing to freak out about. We all know that preseason success does not necessarily translate to the regular season, and we know that because we went 4-0 in the preseason before going 0-16 in the regular season. So let's all hang tight and see what else they've got to show us. I will say my overall feelings regarding the game are just that it was very preseason-esque. You know, there was some vanilla play calling, and I think the coaching staff was definitely just using this like a preseason game is meant to be used, and that is to just assess personnel and how you can use them, their strengths and weaknesses, and just putting them out onto the field and seeing what kind of product they leave there. With that being said, I do want to introduce a new segment today. This will be used when I recap these games from the preseason going into the regular season, and that segment is called Roarin' or Snorin'. In this segment, we're going to break down and recap and review the game based on plays that were roarin', meaning they got me excited. They're plays that we want to see more of out of our Lions moving forward. Definitely highlight specific players in that as well. And then snorin'. These are plays that did not bring the fire, plays that need to improve or players that need to improve. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. First up for the Roarin', Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyrell Williams both had a couple great plays last night. Amon-Ra St. Brown definitely seems like quite the competitor. I love his fire, and I'm super excited to continue to see what he leaves out on the field. Tyrell Williams also had a really nice outside route where he got both toes inside and made quite the catch. So for those of us kind of doubting his hands, that was really nice to see. More roaring, how about the play of Kevin Strong? He definitely showed up last night. I even made a joke to a few of my friends about Kevin Strong looking stronger than usual, pun intended. Next up, Derek Barnes. I was definitely impressed with this rookie. He had two back-to-back beautiful plays there at one point. Very nice, solid tackles in open field. That is something that I think we can all get pretty excited about. Attaboy, Rook. A few other players roaring into preseason. We saw some great flashes from Tom Kennedy, who I did find out is a former professional lacrosse player. One of the only people that I know of who's actually then played professional football and professional lacrosse. And then Jashawn Cornell. It's unfortunate that he'll be missing the first 3 games of the season due to suspension, but there were some great flashes from him early in last night's game. And last but not least, my 2 most roaring players of the game. First, let's talk about Craig Reynolds. How impressive is it that Reynolds was just signed the day before this preseason game, introducing himself to many of his teammates in the tunnel, as he joked about in the press conferences following his preseason debut. He was rumbling to a 6-carry, 49-yard, and 1 touchdown performance. Reynolds is a very interesting player. I will be very interested to see how he continues to perform throughout the rest of this preseason and whether or not he makes the final roster. Finally, we have to shout out the hot play of Mr. Jack Fox himself. Holy crap, Jack Fox for MVP, you guys. He has still got it, and I think he is one of the brightest spots on this team. And we all know you don't get the roaring without the snoring, so without further ado, the snoring. First off, let's just talk about that first drive of the game. The first play, Jared Goff nearly throws an interception. Second play, Jamal Williams is absolutely stuffed. And third play, Jared Goff is sacked. Just a bad opening series, kind of left a bad taste in our mouths, but they did recover on that second drive. Jared Goff was 7 of 8 for 56 yards, and that's where we did get to see Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyrell Williams shine a little bit. The snoring continued a bit with the linebacker core when they did drop back into coverage. I'm still looking for them to flow to the ball a little bit more effectively. And speaking of Snorin, I do have to pick out one player. It does make me a little bit sad after hearing the reports coming out of training camp and how they were so positive surrounding him. But Jelani Tabai still looked a bit confused last night. He definitely seemed to be the man who missed the coverage on that wide open touchdown that the Bills scored. And although he does look lean, he still does not look very fast. He's got to work on his tackling ability. This might be something that he can improve on throughout the rest of the preseason, but last night did not look too hot. Wrapping it up for the day, be sure to follow along with me on Twitter and interact with me there. I love to get the chance to talk with you guys. The tag is @RachelMarieSports. And speaking of Twitter, I do want to give a shout out to a good friend that I met there and who blessed me with this awesome gear that I'm wearing today, Big Lion Mane. You guys might see him out there at the games dressed head to toe as an actual lion. Thank you so much for this awesome shirt. And be sure that you're following along with Woodward Sports on all their forms of social media to stay up to date on all things Detroit sports and more. As always, guys, one pride and happy football.